Just getting again. So there is a problem. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So I have copied the other works also to this one. Don't worry. So this is a documentation, complete API. API, whatever is there, whatever is all available here, you can easily figure it out and you can use them. Directives are also there, right? So all these things, input is there, input checkbox is there, ng app, ng bind. So new things are getting added, directives. These are all new developments. So you can all use these directives, so much so forth. And this is actually the concepts overview. You can also get the concepts overview here, the total documentation. For example, this is data binding that you have already seen that. ng model, ng app, div, whatever it is. This is what we have seen. So all the concepts, data binding, controller, services, scopes. So if you want to add a service also, you can add a service. Like a whatever it is, my controller. What is this? Something like example $. So you want to put a scope variables kind of thing, like this where is equal to element by model. You can get it expected something. Okay, let us see. So these things you can easily add services, scopes. So this is a much more advanced one, but it may not be directly. You want to understand something and all, you can do that. So if you want to get more and more knowledge on these particular things, then you can also go back to previous versions. That might be the current version, but if you want to go back one version before, you can also get the information on that. Somehow it's not responding. So this is complete API. How to, okay, for example, how do you create a direct input checkbox? You can also do it. Input type checkbox, ng model string, and so on and so forth. All other things you can do it. So ng true value expression and if value as expression and ng string, all these things you can set it. So that input type checkbox, how do you write? Simple example it is being shown there. Date also. It must be a small example here. You can check the date. Pick a date. So it's a date picker, and also that's what you already know. But here you can set certain things actually. If you change this to something like okay, it has been set to do, okay, 2013 is fixed. You cannot change the year. So how the year got fixed? You cannot go beyond 2014, 2013. So something is fixed here. You cannot. You can. That's how. You can always make such restrictions here. So the minimum date, maximum date, he has mentioned here. So minimum date, maximum date, he has mentioned there. That's how you can always keep it. You can make sure. Pick a date in 2013. Input type date, so on so. All of the things, for everything there is an example. You can do it, and there are certain documentations here. When you go through it, so form or some form directories are also there. And one more thing, one more filter is also there. Okay, I would like to show you. So this is a input name model. Something you want to put in a JSON format also, you can put a JSON format. This is what we are doing, am I right? So let me show you an example here. The output I want to get it in a JSON format. Here, hello Ramesh. So Ramesh is actually being put over here. This hello Ramesh, let me keep it as a, like something like PRE. No hello. Again another PRE, okay. And I want to make it as JSON. Automatically putting double quotes there. Automatically JSON string it is actually making you. So it automatically putting the double quotes for a JSON string or whatever it is. So if it is an object or kind of thing, then it automatically makes those things available. If something is an object, for example, let us say init something here, init init which equals to, let me put an object here. Rather than giving something, I want to give an object. I want to give an object. So name Ramesh, height 182. So now what is that? Oh, okay, I need to initialize this actually. What is this? My object. Say my object. My object is equal to so on and so forth. My object is equal to so on. That's what. Now this my object I want to make it as a my object, as a JSON object. You see it. It's a JSON object. That object automatically got converted as a JSON object. So the filter JSON is a filter here. You can use a JSON filter also. I want to make it as an array also. Let me see. I don't know whether I can do it or not. Yeah, it got a, okay, it's a kind of, okay, it's not actual. It did not apply the filter. Array filter is not there anyway. So a JSON filter is there. There is a filter called JSON. So automatically it converts the object into a JSON format. Any object you can convert into JSON format and you can populate it. So we need to find out some tasks so that we will be understanding. And we did not, okay, we have talked about this one. modules, Angular events. Did we catch the Angular events? So ng-click we have done it. Okay, right. Angular events we have done. Angular modules, we can add modules. That we already talked about modules. And Angular forms here. So input elements, select elements, button elements, and text area elements. Okay. So Angularjs form example. Something that we already know. Here form is equal to whatever it is. So you can also, and some master data also you can keep. Form data, master data. So two different objects form, okay, and you can easily do something like this. You understand it? When you are resetting it, you are trying to keep the reserve of the master data. So even if you reset it, it has to work. Okay, it's not working. You see here. Okay, let me show you. Ramesh, NBS. If I reset it, the master data will be set there. The master data will be set there. So I am typing this and I want to reset with some default data. You can reset it. So this is an example here. What is actually happening? Rest of it you already know. This part, form, and this is actually showing that one. Anyway, now what is actually keeping? I am keeping a master and a reset button action. A master and reset button action. So in the master I am keeping some data. When actually this is actually the whole thing is a form. Okay, this is actually user first name, user last name. You understand the model here? It's an object dot something, an object dot something. Let's try this so that you will be understanding rather than. My work log. Sorry. అక్కడి నుంచే తీసుకున్నా. So let me take one example here. Save link as. $28. The Angularjs form example. Form examples. Now I want to also copy this one also. Save link as. Save. Now let me open those files. Control O. Right. Now if you see this is a simple example, but Angularjs form example. So this is okay. I don't want to initialize anything, and let me add a form here. Form. Okay, ID, action, and everything you can keep it later. Inside this form, I want to write certain things here actually. So I want to write first name input type is equals to text ng model is equal to user dot f name. Similarly, last name. I want to keep the last name also. If you want to keep it as a row and all, bootstrap and all, you can use the bootstrap directly here, right? Or otherwise, you can put a br tag for the time being. Now, this is the user dot last name, L name. Right, I want to keep my master data initialized, or you can even keep your master inside your controller itself. And I want to write a small app here. So script. Now I want to write an app. So where my app is equal to Angular dot module of your app name. So my form. So this is your object. Now you need to add the controller to my app or my form app. My form app dot controller. Okay, of controller is a function actually. So which actually requires, okay, and a controller name. So my CTRL, a form control dot function which requires a scope variable function, okay, which requires a scope variable, scope parameter, and I want to define this function. Now I would like to press enter key here and I want to do the work here. Inside the scope dot master is equal to I want to keep something like this. So scope dot master is equals to okay, I want to write this object, JSON object. So f name, say Ramesh, and L name NBN. So this is my master object. Whenever I reset it, it has to set that actually. That's my objective by default. By default, it's my objective. Whenever the reset is clicked, that I want to do something like that. So first of all, I want to, by default, I want to set the first name and last name to be the one what I would like to initialize. So whatever it is. So $scope dot, okay, user dot, okay. So $user is equal to $master. So $scope dot user is equal to $scope dot master. By default, I want to assign it. $scope dot user is equal to scope dot master. Actually, I cannot copy it actually. I should only copy the property values. I shouldn't do that actually. Let me check. Reset Angular.copy. I need to make a copy. I cannot do that. Okay, right. By default, I need to initialize those values. So form control and by default scope.master reset function scope.reset. Okay, just calling every time scope.reset. That's it. Okay. Now, okay, let's do first job instead of resetting. I want to copy that. This is okay. Angular dot copy. I want to copy the master to my user variable. to my user, I want to copy the master. I cannot assign. That's what I am telling. When you are assigning the same objects, both are same. Though they are having different names, they are going to point it up. But you need to make a copy of the master, assign it to user. So this is what I'm trying to do. I'm not putting a reset right now. So automatically the master data will be assigned to user. And user.fname, master.fname will become user.fname, master.lname become user.lname. Should become. That's the model here. Let's check whether it's working or not. Control O, desktop, my work, 28, Angular, example, so on and so forth. It's not working. Okay, it's not working. Why is it not working? No, you need to, I did not. What is the app? What is the app name? My form. What is the controller name? Form CTRL. Then it should work. Let us see. Inspect element and check for errors. There are errors here. What is the error here? One not two. Master is not found. Master is not defined. Scope.master is not defined. All scope dot master. Do I need to define the master? It's not required. But we can type our own master, no problem at all. Okay, let's keep it like this. What will happen? Let's keep it. Then it's going to be an object now. Let us see. Still is saying 102 line number. $master is not defined. Did I use $? Okay. I'm sorry. Scope.master. It's not $master. Scope.master. That is correct. Now you check it. So Ramesh and NBN got set. Ramesh and NBN got set automatically in the form aspect. So this is okay. What I did not put a reset button there. Let me put a reset button here. In the form, let me put a reset button. Button. ng click is equal to say my reset. Let me call my reset. ng click my reset button reset. I'm adding my reset, not reset. My reset function I'm adding there. So now I need to define the new thing here. So what am I defining? Scope dot my reset is a function. Doing this job. That's it. Whenever reset is clicked, it has to set the value. Whenever the reset is clicked, it has to reset the value. So you want to call my reset action when my reset is called. So how am I doing? It's my reset is nothing but it must be in the scope. So I'm adding my reset function. How am I adding? My reset is equal to is a function which is you're going to do a certain job. Now if you see it, Now the default values will not be set. But whenever you click reset, the values will be set. Now what do you want to do? Even by default it has to set. How do you do? Just call my reset, that's it. $scope dot my reset is a function. You can call it. $scope dot my reset, you call it. Then even on the default loading itself, it will set the values. You can also put another BR here. Now by default also it will load the values there. So Ramesh and NBN got loaded by default. So even if you click the result, Ramesh instead of Ramesh, Padma, NNB, and if I click reset, it will reset the values back to the original. So this is how you can write a function. This function job, everything you can even take them into the other one actually. NG model, and ultimately whatever it is coming to the other side, you can catch it. So you can always see that what is master, what is current user. So you can also see that at the end of the form also you can write something like this: PRE I want to see what is master in the JSON format, or otherwise master in JSON format. Here I can write master objective. Similarly, user objective. User objective. User in JSON format. Now you can see both the outputs here. Whenever you reload it, master object is Ramesh NBN and user object is also Ramesh NBN. But whenever you change here, master object is the same. It's not going to change, but I am only taking a copy of it. Okay, the user object is only changing the values. So the forms, the reset method, or what is this reset? My reset? I did not use reset, not to confuse you. My reset is your own method. Where are you defining this method? Inside the scope. You are defining the method, you are defining the my reset function like this. It's an anonymous function. So you can add any action to the form. Not only this, any other actions also you can add it. You can also do some test, and you can also check something, and whether it's an error or not or something like that, you can always do that. Input validation. So Angular validation. So you need to apply validation rules. So I want to check something is an email or not, or something, whatever it is. So you want to validate something. So you can also write something like this. a controller, and which validates the inputs, and it will automatically allows you to do it. Now this is a kind of thing you see. Span. Sure. Okay, right. Now this is a small example. Let us do something here. So required. Okay, and if that is or invalid, you want to do something. User dot invalid or user dot dirty. You want to validate something. First of all, let us type something required field. I want to validate it. I want to validate something is required. I want to validate it. I want to check it. So first of all, let us see. Let us see. On. Okay, right. On. Control, so on and so forth. Correct. Let me save the same form. File save as. File save as. Examples 2. Save. So I want to make the first name is required field. First name is like a required field. Required. Okay, I want to make the first name is a required field. Required is equal to required. To make something like this, you want to, or otherwise you can also make. So I want to make the first name a required field. Now that ng must validate it actually. It validates it. But if you want to show some error like red color and all, then you need to learn something. Okay. But right now I'm not actually. Since I left it blank and it's not showing any error at all right now. Since I left it blank and come to the another one. Right? So now I want to check whether this actually became dirty or not. And if it is dirty and it's not, if it is invalid, I want to show some error. I want to show some error. Dirty means what? Something has changed. Something you have actually changed. Okay? So dirty means there is a thing called dirty. Dirty and either koncham modify chesina, oka aksharam modify chesina, it is considered to be dirty. If you see here, there is a thing called dirty, $dirty. So you can check your form, myform.user.dirty, my form, okay, name my form, okay, no validate, right. Let's add another one, name, whatever the name, to your form also you can add it. So you can directly add ng app to your form itself instead of your div itself. Let's add the ng app to my form itself. Ng app, my form. So div I am not going to use it. Controller also I want to add it to my form itself. I want to add it to my form itself, so the controller should be added to the form itself. And I want to add a name to the form. Say my form or form. And no validate, it's saying no validate. Okay, let us check it later. First of all, I am just enhancing. Instead of applying to the app to the div, I am applying the app to the form itself. Now I want to check something, I want to show something upon something became dirty. So here I want to put a span. I want to put a span. What is a span? So name required or something like that. What username is required. Username is required. ng show. Error.required or error.required. Username is required. Right, span. So that's what you can also control that the dollar error also can get it. So otherwise color red. So it's actually changing the style, span style, and also putting another span. Or you can directly do both together itself. Dirty and invalid, you want to show something. Right? Okay. First of all, let us add one part here. Part by part. So username required. Username required. So I want to change the color ladder. First of all, it's a span containing username required. When it is show, ng show. When it has to be shown, I want to check the form dot user dot fname form dot user dot fname dot dirty. దాని చేంజ్ అయితే ఫస్ట్ అంతవరకు చెక్ చేద్దాం. ఒకవేళ కానీ చేంజ్ అయితే యూజర్ నేమ్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అని చూపించాలి. డర్టీ ARTY డర్టీ అంటే యూజర్ నేమ్ లో చేంజ్ వస్తే కనుక యూజర్ నేమ్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అని స్పాన్ చూపించుదాం అనుకున్నాను నేను. రైట్? ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ నాట్ డర్టీ ఇట్ విల్ నాట్ బి షోన్. No, it's not dirty. Whenever I change this, ఒక అక్షరం చేంజ్ చేసినా డర్టీ అవుతుంది ఆటోమేటిక్గా. బట్ ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు షో ద స్పాన్ something. యూజర్నే డర్టీ చేస్తుంది. యూజర్ డాట్ నేమ్ ఫామ్ డాట్ యూజర్ డాట్ నేమ్ itself only validating that, but let me check form control with my form dot user dot name dirty. It has to show. Okay, let us see any errors have been generated or not. Errors ఏమైనా వచ్చినాయేమో చూద్దాం. Errors ఏమి రాలా. One change becomes dirty, basically. Username required. It has to show the span. Whenever ng show form dot user dot fname dot dirty. అయితే కనుక let's just show it. Some error is successful. Let's check it. user.fname ng show span whenever it is invalid username required it has to show. ఇది అక్కడ fname అని పెట్టాను కదా. ఇక్కడ ఇది పర్లేదు, టెక్స్టే కదా, టెక్స్ట్ కదా ఇది, దీంట్లో ఇష్యూ లేదు. ఈ స్పాన్ చూపించాల్సి వస్తుంది. ఈ స్పాన్ చూపించడం గురించి వస్తున్నాను. యూజర్ నేమ్ ఆర్ ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఏదైనా పర్లేదండి, మన ఇష్టం. దీంట్లో ఇష్యూ లేదు, కానీ రెండు ఫస్ట్ నేమ్లే పెట్టండి. దాని గురించి వరీ అవుతున్నారు మీరు. ఓకే, లాస్ట్ నేమ్ దాని గురించి కాదు, నేను ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ వరీయింగ్ why it's not functioning. Form controller so on so forth, no validate, so and so I set it once it got set. So validation example, validate control, my app control, validate scope, so on, so nothing. Okay, there is nothing validate control. We can write it there also. Span style, so on, so ng show my form dot user add dot dirty. This is and operation means రెండు జరిగితే డర్టీ అయ్యి అది ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితే అన్న చెప్తున్నాడు. నేను డర్టీ అయితే మాత్రం చూపించేమన్నాను కదా. సో ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఇట్ టు బి షోన్ when it is become dirty. Name is equal to user, so that may be the required. Okay, right, you did not put it. This is why it could not be shown. User name పెట్టలేదు, మనం మోడల్ బైండ్ చేస్తున్నాం కానీ we should also put the name also. Name is equal to f name. ఇప్పుడు వస్తుంది. సో యూజర్ తీసేసేయచ్చు. ఇప్పుడు యూజర్ f name, user f name, user first name. సో యూజర్ f name ది కనుక ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితే, యూజర్ f name కనుక ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితే it has to show, or if it is just dirty అయినా కానీ చూపించాలి. If it is even dirty, it has to be shown. So I change. Okay, it's not showing still. Another one. Form. Name form. Form. And you show form dirty. If it is dirty, it has to show. User.fname. ng model is user.fname. And name is equal to user.name. Text. Let us check why it is not functioning. Let us just do from here so that we will be understanding it. Email and just show email error required. Error.required. Username is required. అది స్టైల్ స్పాన్ అది చూపించాలా వద్దా అని చెప్తున్నాడు. స్పాన్ స్టైల్ అది స్పాన్ అయినా has to show it. Let us check it. ఎక్కడ తప్పు చేస్తున్నాం మనం. ఇది డర్టీ అయినా కూడా చూపించాలని చెప్తున్నాం. సో డర్టీ అయినా చూపించమని రెడ్ కలర్లో. నాట్ ఓన్లీ ఇన్వాలిడ్, డర్టీ అయితే మాత్రం చూపించమన్నాం. దెన్ వీ విల్ బి అండర్స్టాండింగ్. Not only invalid if it is dirty. Dirty కి రావట్లేదు ఇది. అయినా ఇప్పుడు రావాలి, బట్ somehow ఎలిమెంట్ కాదు, ఇది మొత్తం తీస్తే కనుక ఇట్ విల్ షో సంథింగ్. అది లేకపోతే డర్టీ అంటే ఒక చేంజ్ అయినా కూడా డర్టీ అయినట్టే. దట్స్ వాట్. ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితే చూపిస్తుంది కదా. ఇట్స్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ ఇస్ షోయింగ్ అస్. ఈమెయిల్ డర్టీ చేస్తే వెంటనే చూపిస్తుందా? ఆన్ ఈమెయిల్ స్టైల్ రెడ్ ఇట్స్ డర్టీ అండ్ ఇన్వాలిడ్. అగైన్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ కూడా అక్కడ కూడా ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయిపోతుంది కదా. ఈమెయిల్ చేంజ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఆటోమేటిక్గా ఇన్వాలిడ్ అవుతుంది. ఇట్స్ నాట్ షోయింగ్. డాట్ కో ఈజ్ ఓకే. ఎక్కడ నెట్ సింబల్ తీసేసాం. ఇప్పుడు ఏ చెక్ చేస్తున్నాం మనం? ఇదే కదా చెక్ చేస్తుంటాం. ఇన్వాలిడ్ అండ్ డర్టీ. ఓకే, రైట్. ఎనీవే, డజంట్ మ్యాటర్. సో ఇట్స్ షోయింగ్ ఇన్ రెడ్ కలర్, బట్ ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ షో user invalid. Okay, let us see that. Okay, otherwise user name, dollar error dot read valid. Dollar error error required. Okay, చూద్దాం. Okay, dollar user name error required అన్న చెక్ చేస్తున్నాం. Okay, right, let us also do on change అన్నది. Okay, let us try this first. So it is actually we are making trying to be required. So if I remove this and come to this, it has to show that. Why it's not showing? So ng required is equal to required and pattern. The required is equal to required. What is going to be happening here? Ng model user required is equal to required and code pattern. Or required is equal to span user dirty, so once invalid span ng model show whatever is error dot required username. If I remove it, then it automatically shows username is required. So one letter it also accepts. You can also validate the minimum, maximum lengths and all. You can validate. That's another one. First of all, this is invalid. Username my form dot user dot error user error. Okay, let us try another one. User dot fname dot error. Let us check whether it is working or that one is working. That's why still I have a doubt here. It's not showing. Ng show. Okay, ng model. Say for example first name. Okay, let me change this part. Now my control wrap, I don't want to put it. What do I want to do, just this is okay. Form control dot scope dot fname is equal to Ramesh dot scope dot lname is equal to nbn. I'm just simplifying the task. Where is the problem? I want to figure it out. So for that matter, I'm trying to do something like this. So the input text fname, name is fname and ng model is also fname. And similarly input text model name is equal to lname and name is also equal to name. Okay, you can also put my form here or form 1. Name is equal to say form 1. Now what am I willing to tell is ng show form 1 dot fname dot error required first name. It has to show it's required. But span lo span పెట్టాడు వాడు. So byte span చూపిస్తున్నా local span చూపిస్తున్నాడు వాడు. So 2 spans he is trying to show. Let's check again. Span ng show is equal to form1 dot fname dot dirty and form1 dot fname dot invalid. రెండు కనుక అయితే change అయ్యి invalid అయితే కనుక I'm trying to show it. Let me see whether it's still working or not. Okay, ఇది నా నుంచి తప్పు చేస్తున్నాను, మీరు ఎవ్వరు చెప్పట్లేదు, నేను అదే చేస్తున్నాను. బ్యాడ్ ఏంటంటే ఎగ్జాంపుల్ 1 లోడ్ చేస్తున్నాను ఎంతసేపటికి. ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ రిక్వైర్డ్, చిన్న తప్పు అది. దట్స్ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు. I have been loading the same form, even it's not getting changed. That's what. Okay. So అది ఇన్వాలిడ్ కాకపోయినా అయినా చూపించమందాం అనుకుంటున్నాను ఒకసారి. డర్టీ అయితే చాలు చూపించమందాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. వస్తుందో చెక్ చేద్దాం. లేదు, డర్టీ కాదు, ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితేనే చూపిస్తుంది. So that's it, dirty. So invalid అయితేనే it is actually showing. Error కాదు కాబట్టి అది it's not showing it. It's not showing it. Now if I do something differently here, okay, right. So that's okay. Okay, dirty కనుక అయితే I want to do something here. Just change the data. You have changed the data and by default వచ్చేస్తుంది. ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది ఎక్కడో కదా. పార్ట్ సింటాక్స్ నెంబర్ 1 or 2 ఎర్రర్. చిన్న తప్పు చేశాను పార్ట్స్ లో, ఇక్కడ అది ప్రాబ్లం. మళ్ళీ ఎన్జీ షో రాశాను, 2 times రాశాను. ఏంటిది? యా, సో డర్టీ అంటే దాన్ని చేంజ్ చేశాను కాబట్టి కొన్ని డేటాని చేసేసాను కాబట్టి అది డర్టీ అయింది. సో యూ హ్యావ్ చేంజ్ ద డేటా అని చెప్తోంది అక్కడ. డర్టీ అనే ఆప్షన్ ఒకటే పెడితే ఫస్ట్, ఇది లేకుండా ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్. దెన్ whenever you change any text field, it will find out it became dirty. అది తెలుస్తుంది. అంటే చేంజ్ అయ్యి something got changed and which is invalid, form1 dot fname dot invalid గనక అయితే then you need to show something. డర్టీ అయ్యి రెండు అవ్వాలి. ఇప్పుడు డర్టీ అయింది కానీ ఇన్వాలిడ్ కాదు. ఎప్పుడు ఇన్వాలిడ్? మొత్తం తీసేస్తే ఇన్వాలిడ్. We have changed, but it did not become. Both the conditions must be true. This is a double and means ampersand and logical and. So this and this must be true. Dirty and invalid must be true. Then only it will show the span. This span చూపిస్తుంది. ఈ span red color వేయాలి. That's what your idea is to. So you want to apply the style is in red color. Style need not apply. Okay, right? Error unte error చూపించొచ్చు anyway. Even if it is invalid itself, you want to show something, you can also show the style. Okay, style color red. That's it. Now it will show you whenever that is actually there. You have changed the data. Instead of that, you have changed the data. First name invalid. First name invalid. First name required ఏం ఎర్రర్ అన్నది కూడా పట్టుకోవచ్చు రిక్వైర్డ్ ఎర్రర్ అయితే రిక్వైర్డ్ ఎర్రర్ ఈమెయిల్ ఎర్రర్ అయితే ఇన్వాలిడ్ ఈమెయిల్ అని అట్లా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు మీరు ఇప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనకి ఇన్వాలిడ్ అని చెప్పాం కానీ ఏ ఇన్వాలిడిటీ అన్నా తెలియదు మనకి వాట్ కైండ్ ఆఫ్ ఇన్వాలిడిటీ we do not know if you want to specifically know the kind of invalidity then you need to write another small span inside based on the situation ఇటువంటి దాంట్లో ఇంకో 2-3 స్పాన్స్ రాయొచ్చు ఈమెయిల్ రిక్వైర్డ్ ఈమెయిల్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ సో ఈమెయిల్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అండ్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ సో రెండు పెట్టాలనుకున్నప్పుడు we can write another one now to check both the conditions so this is actually it's saying it's the first name invalid because only required undi ikkada megitha anta text kabatti no issue right or if you want to validate something it should only be text numbers are not allowed and anukunna kuda you can do that you can also check whether that's only the numbers are not and all of the things can be done so that's why you can use span in span to check further details of the error that's what easy ganaka error okay invalid aithe okay now let me see the another one here let us see here okay input type email name say email ng model code email put దీనికి నేను I want to write a span button వద్దులేండి ప్రస్తుతానికి బటన్ అవసరం లేదు మనకి so this span what I want to write a span now I want to write two different things here okay ఇక్కడ రెడ్ అన్ని మామూలు డర్టీ ఇన్వాలిడ్ అయితే ఈమెయిల్ రెండు పోర్షన్స్ ఉంటాయి ఇన్వాలిడ్ ఈమెయిల్ అయినా అవ్వచ్చు ఈమెయిల్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అయినా అవ్వచ్చు సో ఈమెయిల్ ఈజ్ ఆల్సో రిక్వైర్డ్ or email ante definitely it actually looks for but required is equal to required and better less now no issue or required is equal to no issue so now you want to check the same thing for email okay inkoka pani cheddam manam I want to say whether it is working or not okay form 1 and even email this is only the one okay now email form 1.email right dirty and form 1.email invalid aithe okay valid email is required this is a one level first what we are doing now if you try it this must be an email by default it is actually blank it is blank only so there is no error as long as you do not change it there is no error ఇప్పుడు ఏదైనా పెట్టి కనుక పెడితే valid email required because it's a dirty became dirty and it is not valid okay f8a.com this is a valid email ఒప్పుకుంటుంది సో అది ఈమెయిల్ నేను ఇవ్వలేదు ఇప్పుడు ఈమెయిల్ valid email required అంటుంది ఇందాక dirty అయింది now it is showing you so what I would like to know email is required and email unte email valid email and kaadu asalu email is required and raayali that's it so two different things you want to check here you can also check the errors also what kind of error it is so that's what you are actually trying to see okay ng submit disabled dirty and also invalid or okay either of this it has to show submit type input type అది వేరే విషయం this is what ఏం ఎర్రర్ అన్నది ఇక్కడ చెక్ తెలుస్తుంది మీకు ఇప్పుడు దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు షో యూ హియర్ ఐ వాంట్ వన్ స్పాన్ కాదు అప్పుడు దెన్ వాట్ ఐ డూ ఐ విల్ పుట్ టూ స్పాన్స్ ఓకే వాట్ ఈస్ దట్ టూ స్పాన్స్ స్పాన్లెస్ టూ స్పాన్స్ స్పాన్ క్లోజ్ చేయలేదు నేను ఇక్కడ సో ఐ వాంట్ పుట్ టూ స్పాన్స్ హియర్ one span I want to ng show I want to check if it is a required error అయితే అంటే ఏంటి ఇప్పుడు form 1 dot email dot error dot email error కనుక email valid email కాకపోతే email email must be valid. Email must be valid. Email must be valid. Another span I want to add now. ఇంకో span add చేస్తాను. Email required error అయితే అంటే అసలు ఇవ్వాల్సిన email is required. Now these are two different errors. One error is not putting in a valid email or not even giving email itself. Two different errors. So I want to check both the things. So for that matter I wrote a small thing like this. First ఇక్కడ ఏమీ లేదు, డర్టీ చేస్తాం. ఫస్ట్ email must be valid. Email ఇవ్వట్లేదు అసలు. Email is required. You see the things there. Email is required is one thing and email is valid is another thing. So email is email ఏమి ఇవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి email required అని చెప్తోంది. I am typing something Ramesh. Email must be valid. So my valid email ఇస్తే then it does not complain. at GN ఒప్పేసుకుంటుంది. So this is a valid email. డాట్ at the rate ఉంటే సరిపోతుందా? లేదు, at the rate ఏదో ఇవ్వాలి. ఒక లెటర్ కావాలి, ఒప్పుకోండి. ఇది కూడా కావాలంటే వెలిడేట్ చేయొచ్చు, లేదు సెకండరీ మ్యాటర్ అది. యూ వాంట్ వెలిడేట్ దట్ ఆల్సో యూ కెన్ వెలిడేట్ ఇట్. యూ కెన్ రైట్ యువర్ ఓన్ వెలిడేటర్స్. ఇప్పుడు ఆ తర్వాత డాట్ ఇచ్చి ఖచ్చితంగా వన్ డాట్ ఉండి తర్వాత సంథింగ్ మస్ట్ బి దేర్, యూ కెన్ ఆల్సో వెలిడేట్ దట్ పార్ట్ ఆల్సో. బట్ దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో ఎ వ్యాలిడ్ ఈమెయిల్. ఇన్ సమ్ ఆఫ్ ద ఆర్గనైజేషన్స్ దట్ ఇస్ ఎ వ్యాలిడ్ ఈమెయిల్. లోకల్ గా ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు సెండ్ సంథింగ్ ఎట్ సంథింగ్ అని చెప్తే సరిపోతుంది. డాట్ కామ్స్ డాట్ ఇస్ సంథింగ్ చెప్పక్కల. ఇంకా so this is a model. So we are actually ఏంటి ఎక్కడ జావాస్క్రిప్ట్ ఒకటి కూడా రాయలేము మనం, కొంచెం ఏదో రాసాం కిందంతే. బట్ రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద చెకింగ్స్ ఇట్స్ డూయింగ్. ఇట్స్ నాట్ యువర్ జాబ్ టు డూ, ద కంప్యూటర్ ఇస్ డూయింగ్ ద రెస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద జాబ్ ఫర్ యూ. సో దట్స్ వాట్ యూ కెన్ ఆల్వేస్ మేక్ ష్యూర్. ఇప్పుడు అలాగే ఇక్కడ కూడా మిన్ మ్యాక్స్ కూడా చెప్పొచ్చు. మిన్ ఎర్రర్ మ్యాక్స్ ఎర్రర్. సో రిక్వైర్డ్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ రిక్వైర్డ్, మినిమమ్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 8, max is equal to say 20. min max వస్తుందా? ఉంటుందా ఉండదా? టెక్స్ట్ కి min length, టెక్స్ట్ ఫీల్డ్ అట్రిబ్యూట్స్ ఏమన్నా చూడండి HTML లో. min length or you can also type the pattern. Also you can type pattern కూడా చెప్పొచ్చు. pattern చెప్పొచ్చు. You can type the pattern, that's better. Pattern is equals to, you can write the pattern. Dot అంటే any character, a minimum 8 characters, maximum 20 characters. Any pattern లో dot అంటే any character. Dot means any character which is must be minimum 8 and maximum 20. So error, pattern error అయితే and you can check it now. It is invalid. Okay, invalidity now we can check this. right? So you can also do it. You can put another span here. Must be minimum 8, max 20 as. ఒక span అది. ఇంకో span first name required. First name required. ఇంకో span అది. Now for these both spans I want to put two conditions here. In the first condition ng show is equal to, so what is that, form1 dot fname dot $error dot pattern. Pattern error అయితే ఎర్రర్ ప్యాటర్న్ వల్ల అయితే ఇది, అదే ఎర్రర్ రిక్వైర్డ్ వలన అయితే ఇది. ఏమి ఇవ్వలేదు, ఒక క్యారెక్టర్ ఇచ్చాను, ఒప్పుకోవట్లే కదా, సరిపోలేదు. ఇప్పుడు సరిపోయినాయి 8 క్యారెక్టర్స్, అంటే ఇక్కడికి వచ్చేటప్పుడు సరిపోయింది. మినిమం 8 క్యారెక్టర్స్, 8 దగ్గర మ్యాక్స్ మస్ట్ బి మినిమం 8 అండ్ మ్యాక్సిమం 20 క్యారెక్టర్స్. 20 కన్నా ఎక్కువ ఇచ్చిన ఒప్పుకోదు. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. So 21 characters ఇచ్చినా కూడా it does not accept. So must be minimum and maximum 8. Only numbers accept చేయకూడదు దాంట్లో. First name లో numbers accept చేయకూడదు. You can also tell the pattern here. You can also tell the pattern. It must be a minimum characters of A to Z, and a space is allowed. Some spaces are allowed. Okay, ఖచ్చితంగా ఇవి ఉండాలి అన్ని. ఫస్ట్ నేమ్ లో స్పేస్ ఉండకూడదు అనుకుంటున్నా. Then it must be only the characters. It can all the must be numbers accept చేయదు మళ్ళీ. Seven, 8, 9, 10 numbers accept చేయదు ఎన్ని పెట్టుకున్నా. ఓన్లీ లెటర్స్ ఆర్ యాక్సెప్టెడ్. దీనిలో నెంబర్ పెట్టినా మళ్ళీ యాక్సెప్ట్ చేయదు. రమేష్ NBN 1. So you can tell the pattern. Any pattern that you are looking for, you can tell the pattern. ఆ pattern లోనే it will validate. Email కూడా you can give a pattern. మీరు అన్నారు కదా ఖచ్చితంగా ఒక ఎట్ సింబల్ ఉండాలి. సంథింగ్ మస్ట్ బి దేర్ ఆఫ్టర్ దట్, అండ్ సంథింగ్ మస్ట్ బి దేర్, a dot ఖచ్చితంగా 1 dot ఉండాలి, and something must be there after that, and should not be ended by a dot at the end. Awesome. Okay, you can write your own pattern there, any pattern, and you are looking for a phone number which must only contain digits. Then you can simply give this pattern. You can add capital letters or small letters allowed. Nothing other than that in the name. Short break and we can join again. Yeah. So in this form, I want to add at the end, there is a button I want to add. So input type is equal to submit. Input type is equal to submit. ng disabled. ng disabled is equal to, I want to enable only one upon they are valid. So ng disabled, right? If it is disabled as long as it is not valid and all. So I'm going to write my rule here. So these two rules can be added now. So either the form one f name is invalid. If the form one dot f name is invalid, you can directly, you need not check for the dirtiness. If the form one dot f name is invalid, or form one dot email is invalid, form one dot email is invalid, then you want to disable that button. If they are invalid, you want to disable that button. Now it is disabled. Automatically it is disabled mode. If you type the things in proper way, let me change the things. Not last name, it's an email. So let me reload it. So Ramesh is invalid. Even though if I type Ramesh NBN, still that is not valid. If I type Ramesh at gmail.com, then only it is making it enabled. Otherwise, if it is disabled, email must be valid and showing the submit button. You can keep a BR there. If you don't want to mix them out, you can keep a BR. After the span, put a BR. Or inside the span itself, you can put a BR. So this is it. It's not still valid. Though email is valid, but the first name is not valid still. It must be 8 characters. Then only the submit button is getting enabled. So that's how you can always make these buttons also, whether they are to be disabled or enabled based on the form input. Can you disabled if first name is invalid and email is also invalid, or either of this. If any one of them is invalid, you don't want to enable the button. Next part. So that's about forms. So all these forms are regular forms only. Don't worry about it. So you can always validate this thing like this also. Okay, TT also you can write something, whatever it is. Alerts also you can write text. If you change this form, then it will work. So this. Now the next one, okay, I'm not sorry. Here, dirty means what? User has interacted with the field. Valid means the field contains content valid. Invalid means field is invalid. Pristine, user has not interacted with the field yet. Pristine, and user asala, he did not touch the field. Sorry, field lo ఎటువంటి changes చేయలేదు అన్నది కూడా find out చేయగలం. If that is pristine, means ఇంటాక్ట్ ఎలా అయితే మనం ఫామ్ లోడ్ చేసినప్పుడు ఉందో అలాగే ఉంటే దట్ ఇస్ కన్సిడర్డ్ బై ప్రిస్టైన్. So you can also find out such things. You are expecting the user to input something definitely in some of this to change something. Then you can ask the pristine or whatever it is. Already we have seen that API. Again we are seeing Angular dot lowercase Angular. Not only the filter, you can also do this one. Angular dot is string. So you can check whether it is a string or is number. All these things can be checked. Is array. Is number. These things are there. You want to check, if you want to check something, there are certain things available. So now if you want to bootstrap and Angularjs together, if you want to use Twitter bootstrap and Angularjs together, then how can you do it? Similarly, you know that bootstrap.min.css, bootstrap.min.js, angular.min.js, you can use them together to do the job. So here are some examples. HTML code. You can see the output. Already you know, but to know something again. Class, columns, all these things. This is a kind of thing. So it's the bootstrap forms. Whenever you are designing the form, it will get the richness into the form. The bootstrap will help you all these things. You can put something like this, the grid, the bootstrap grid, and create new user buttons like this. First name, last name, save changes. Then all the things, after filling all the things, it got enabled. Otherwise it was disabled mode. It was disabled mode. You see that? It was in disabled mode. I am typing a wrong password. They are not equal. Then it is in still disabled mode. Whenever I am typing both are equal, then only it is enabled. So this is a small example for that. So this is ng and as well as Twitter bootstrap. So it's an example here you can see. So it is actually checking several things here. So it's the actual input type, ng model, password to place all the so and so. Repeat whatever it is. And password, there are two passwords here. You want to check them. There is something called myusers.js. This file is containing all these validations. This file might be containing all the validations that are required for this whole table. And one more thing, let me also show you here. Let me add another user, Ramesh. So save changes. I'm just checking whether there or not. You can also save changes anyway. So everything can be done in the front end, and ultimately can submit all these things anyway. This is not actually getting changed. We can even change it that way. So table class, users. So the JS file contains those input elements, those reactions that are required. ng disabled, error or incomplete, you want to do it. So incomplete means it will be checking it. So myusers.js file you are supposed to download. It's script src myusers.js. Control C, Control T, Control C, enter the myusers.js, users.js. You can download that file. This is the one what it is containing all the checkings. So this JavaScript file contains all the checkings. Your app and controller, now it's checking all the things. So ID1, actually the users list is already there in the array of objects, followed by scope edit is equal to true, error is false or whatever is incompatible. So when scope edit user function, you want to bring something. So edit, what is it? You check here, what is happening here. I want to edit this user. You see, filter, first name, last name, you want to save something there. So that edit means it automatically changing the form below. So that's what it actually has written the function for that. That what edit. When edit user is clicked with an ID, you are loading the object element that particular user and assigning the first name and last name and scope okay, edit is equal to false. And if only username, what is actually editable? The passwords are editable. So he's only trying to change those passwords. So rest of the things are not editable at all. So if you make them true, then they can be edited. So the scope edit, then scope watch password one. This word watch one. There's a watch. You want to watch something. So when password one function, you want to test something. What do you want to do? The test is a function here. It is actually checking the first password and password whether they are equal or not. If they are equal, then if they are not equal means error. It is an error. Otherwise, it is a false. So scope incomplete is equal to false. Then that also automatically it makes that scope incomplete to be false. And scope.edit and scope.fname and length, so on and so forth. You can always do it. So this is a whole controller is actually doing the most of the job in the front end itself, rather than going to the back end. You can understand this one. If you still have any doubts and all, you can easily, but you need not look at it as a big one. You need to actually bisect and dissect it into small subcomponents, then you can understand all these things. You can easily build it. So the task for you is try to rebuild the same. Try to rebuild the same functionality. Whatever the functionality that is here, you have to rebuild it. But while rebuilding it, don't copy and paste. Okay, you can see there, but you need to type and you need to gradually learn the things out. So it's a task for you. So Angular Bootstrap, directories. Okay, you know that. So body ng app, you can also tell body ng controller. Okay, you also know most of the things, x3, ng show, ng hide. Bootstrap classes you know already. Form horizontal, form vertical, form groups. This is a JavaScript code that what you have seen there. So if you add your own thing, it will be doing. So it's actually trying to test. Every password change, every first name change, every last name change, it is checking. So it's testing the things. First name, last name, scope.edit and not of scope.first name .length or .length, or if any one of them is not matching the length, then you want to do it. Length means 0. If they are not given That's what it means. Scope dot fname dot length అంటే ఏమి ఇవ్వలేకపోతే జీరో జీరో నాట్ ఆఫ్ జీరో ఏమవుతుంది ట్రూ అవుతుంది. ఇదేంటి అనేది మీకు క్వశ్చన్ రావచ్చు, వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ అంటే దే ఆర్ రిక్వైర్డ్ అని అర్థం. If the length is 0 means okay. What happens here? Okay, let's see. We can fool this. Can we fool this? More space ఇచ్చాను. అయినా ఫూల్ అవ్వట్లేదు. ఏమైనా ఉందా ట్రిమ్ ఫంక్షన్ ఉందా దానికి? ఏం చెప్పాడు ఎడిట్ స్కోప్ డాట్ లెంగ్త్ ట్రిమ్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఎక్కడున్నా ట్రిమ్ చేయట్లేదు. ఇస్ ఇట్ గెటింగ్ ట్రిమ్? ఫస్ట్ వర్డ్, ఫస్ట్ నేమ్, లాస్ట్ నేమ్. స్కోప్ పాస్వర్డ్ 2 ఈక్వల్ పాస్వర్డ్స్ ఇవ్వలేదు. నేను ఈక్వల్ పాస్వర్డ్స్ ఇచ్చాను. ఈక్వల్ పాస్వర్డ్స్ ఇచ్చాను కదా. సో అది వెరిఫై చేస్తుంది. ముందు స్పేస్లు ఇచ్చారేమో, ఇట్స్ వెరిఫైయింగ్ ఇట్. సో ద లెంగ్త్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఎ బ్లైండ్ లెంగ్త్. Length is not a blind length then. Definitely it is actually taking those things. Okay. So, okay, it's not, nobody is stopping you. Try it out. So don't wait for my class and just do it. Since the power is not there, you have plenty of work to do. You can access and you can do it. Model variable, password model variable, users is also model variable. Set to true when user clicks on create user. Error. And the password to improperly true if there any fields is empty అన్నది అక్కడ లెక్క. లెంగ్త్ is equal to 0. సో అన్ని స్పేస్ ఇచ్చిన ఒప్పుకోదన్నమాట. Scope dot edit user sets model variables. Scope dot watch is a model variables. Scope dot tests the model variables for errors and incompleteness. The function. So you can validate it. Validation, form validation is very easy to do. Don't stop learning. You just do it. You just check it and do. Try building the whole JS file again on your own. మొత్తం అంతా ఒకేసారి చేయక్కర్లా. ఒక్కొక్క ఫామ్ ఒక్క ఫీల్డ్ చేయండి ఫస్ట్ చాలు. అప్పుడు సేమ్ ఫీల్డ్స్ మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేయొచ్చు మనం కొంచెం. ఆల్రెడీ మనం ఫామ్ కొంచెం చేసాం ఇక్కడ. ఇవన్నీ యూ కెన్ పుష్ ఇట్ ఇంటూ అనదర్ స్మాల్ థింగ్. jQuery, Angularjs and Bootstrap చాలా బాగా వస్తే చాలా జాబ్స్ ఉన్నాయి ఓపెన్. Anyway, pretty much for all these things you need to know JavaScript very well. Without JavaScript you cannot do so many things. So JavaScript is also another thing you need to know it. But idantha JavaScript kada rasindi. Whole thing was written in JavaScript. Though it is Angularjs API వాడుతున్నా కూడా whole thing was written in JavaScript itself. So you need to know JavaScript. So that's what. Okay. Click editing new on the other way. Edit user. ID is equal to new another other is that's what okay. There is something called new operator called new. So here you can always try this. This is your task anyway. Let me not deviate from my thing. You need to okay. So you can include so this is server side line. So ng include, you can include a HTML file. Div you can include something. So Angularjs lo మీరు ఏమైనా HTML file or something PHP file if you want to include it, the PHP means nothing but the server side it is going to come and get it included so that it will do the job there. So you try this include. So it will include those HTMLs inside that body, that particular tag. It is include అయింది. My user list.htm, my user list.htm, my user start form.htm. Both are different things. The same thing he has actually separated those as two HTML files. Separate them as two HTML files. If you see here, create the HTML list. So my users list.html. So this is also the same table class so and so user table striped. This is one HTML file. This is another HTML file form. He has just separated those things in two different things and using that app and for better clarity and better granularity. You can separate them out. That's what. So two different HTML files he has created, and each HTML file again using here that ng directives. This is what. This is a table. So bootstrap table. Table striped and వచ్చిందంటే bootstrap table అని అర్థం చేసుకోండి. So your ng repeat. So it's generating a table row. Then the same thing for edit user ID, ng click. So there is a button and adding a glimpicon, so on and so forth. ng click అయితే ఏం చేయాలనేది ఇక్కడ రాశాడు. Create the HTML form, separate, and same ng, and you also always including these two things to your ng app. Div class ng include. ng app ఖచ్చితంగా ఉండాలి తప్పదు. ng app లోపల is including two HTML files which contains ng, one other table and other one is a form. So you can use ng include. The other directive is ng include. Main page, body ng controller, so on so, and ng app also you can tell. It's a small application. This is also task for you. ఇలాంటి చిన్న అప్లికేషన్ రాయాలి మై నోట్. So you can see that some note you can say something like that, which is looking a note saved. Whether it's note saved or not, I don't know. But this is what Angularjs application example. This kind of small application, you try to do it. The whole thing is already there. You need to actually type such things and beautify that. ng bind, whatever it is. All these things. So this is an application skeleton summary. How does it work? And you can see that. So Angular examples also we have seen, and reference that's what. If you want to know more on Angularjs, you can go to Angularjs reference. So different directives. This is only smaller thing that what you are seeing here, but you can see more of the things here itself. To capture the double click, DBL click, DBL icon click, mouse down, mouse enter, mouse leave, mouse move, key down, key up, key press, change. And some more Angularjs things are also here. What else? So with this, I would like to make sure, what I am actually asking you to do is, this whole thing is a front end one. So whatever you learn, you may be learning advanced Java or PHP or anything, but the front end should not be a problem at all. You should use the same front end tools like Angularjs, jQuery, Bootstrap, and JavaScript and HTML file. This is mandatory. You make it as a habit. So whenever you do something and you want to show a form, use Angularjs or jQuery or Bootstrap form with Angularjs things and all, so that it will definitely take care about it. So the backend, okay, from tomorrow onwards, the plan is to cover advanced Java topics, like the backend aspect of the Java, the servers, servlets, JSPs, and framework, MVC architecture. So those things will be covered from the backend side also. But listening will not definitely make you to develop applications. You need to practice more and more. You need to do as many applications as possible. Then only you can get these things done. Any questions? So I am just again going to continue the classes after completion of advanced Java topics. So you must be again and again I am telling, don't produce HTML, blank HTML and all. Use the topics that I have learned again. jQuery, Bootstrap and AngularJS. Together, three. You can develop very rich applications, front-end tools. They are so rich and they can do so much good job for you. Nowadays, so many things are actually being done like that only. You see that how there are some simple things which looks good and all rich, so much so forth. Okay, this person also using Bootstrap. AngularJS guy is also using Bootstrap. How can I identify that? It's very simple. By looking at these things, you can easily say it's using Bootstrap. Go ahead and right button, select element, go to the previous style in the head part. What are the styles available? Any Bootstrap? Do you see any Bootstrap there? Yeah, he's also using Bootstrap. So many people in the world are using Bootstrap now, which has simplified so many beautification of the aspects of the website. You see this one, this menu, you can easily identify it. It's driven by Bootstrap. And this button, search button, all these things. And this is a highlighting of these things. Key up, key down, mouse, text areas. And another one, okay, let me also actually ask you. Forms. Forms. So developer guide forms are also there. A simple form. We have already seen these forms, but again showing you similar forms. Name, email. Okay, so mail, fame, whatever it is. So whatever you check here, it will be added here. Right? Run it. And do. Okay. That's fine. So form model you are seeing here. You can submit this form model to the web server so that this JSON data can be handled by a server. Use JSON data. That's always better. The form data can be used using CSS classes. Here the same thing. Red color automatically. Green color, okay. Okay, that's also CSS class you can use it. Okay? Binding a form to control state also, you can also do it. I agree. Then I agree. It's actually, you know this. This was not there. Please agree and sign. But what you already know it, binding the form. Okay, here, custom model update records. That is not update. After some time only, on blur only, you want to update it. Here, as soon as regularly, as soon as you type it, you don't want to. You want to update it. You want to type such things. You don't want to update on the fly. Whenever there is blur, whenever you coming out of this thing only, you want to update certain things. So this is a update on blur. Update on blur. You can do it. NG model options. NG model options. You see that. This is what you are seeing. NG model options. You can try it out here. Whenever you are changing the field only, it is updating. It's updating the things. So, not only upon typing the things. Then another one is debounce. Debounced. You can tell it. After certain things you want to. And debounce and time చెప్పొచ్చు Krista and that whatever it is. So NG model options debounce 500. అంటే every half second కి. Every half second కి ఒకసారి. అంటే నేను టైప్ చేసిన ఒక హాఫ్ సెకండ్ ఆగి అప్డేట్ చేయి. We'll wait for a half second since the last content change before triggering the model update. Debounce. So that's what. Update on default blur whatever it is or debounce. Debounce values you can tell. Okay, NG model options. Update on default blur or debounce default 500 blur is equal to 0 whatever it is. So you can automatically can tell it. On blur it has to update, but if it is a debounce it has to wait for about 500 seconds, 500 milliseconds. You can try it out here. Custom validation already chosen there మీరు. Custom validation size integer 1 to 10. Size integer 1 to 10. We have already seen that. So minimum maximum values you can put it. Otherwise you can also put something. No, the range value must be 0 to 10. Minus 1. No. A ఒప్పుకోవట్లా ఏ ఎందుకు ఒప్పుకుంటుందో తెలీదు సరే ఎనీవే you can put it like that. ఈ స్ట్రింగ్ అవునా కాదా అని చెక్ చేయొచ్చు. Modifying built-in validators. Overwritten email. Name overwritten email. Email ఓన్ గా రాశాడు. ఒప్పుకోదు కదా జీ అంటే ఇందాక ఒప్పుకునేది కదా ఇప్పుడు ఒప్పుకోవట్లా. ఇప్పుడు కూడా ఒప్పుకోలేదు ఏంటన్నా. The email format is invalid. ఎందుకు overwritten mail ఎక్కడ రాసి ఉండాలి వీడు script.js లో ఏమని రాశాడు email, they should be started with a small letters, and they are allowed or something at example.com అని రాయాలి, తప్పదు లేకపోతే at example.com అని రాయిపోదు ఊరుకోదు. Ramesh at example.com అప్పుడు. సో అక్కడ he has written his own mail, email type కానీ బట్ it override email name is something. So that overridden validation is doing. Implementing custom form controls. Title, click to edit sum. Okay, model sum. Okay, చూడండి ఇక్కడ ఫామ్ కంట్రోల్స్. సో మోడల్ కంటెంట్, ఇప్పుడు ఇది ఎడిటబుల్ కంటెంట్ కదా, సో అది దట్ ఈస్ ఎడిటబుల్ లా తయారు చేశాడు దాన్ని. సో div ఇట్స్ ఆన్, సో ఆ divని ఎడిట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఇట్స్ నాట్ ఇన్పుట్ ఫీల్డ్, ఇది ఇన్పుట్ ఫీల్డ్ కాదు, divలోని కంటెంట్ ని ఎడిట్ చేస్తున్నాడు. ఎడిట్ చేయగలిగేలా ప్రొవిజన్ ఇచ్చాడు, యాజ్ ఇఫ్ ఇట్స్ ఏ థింగ్. div content is being changed. Model so and so whatever the content that is there, ng model bind చేశాడు ఎవరిని, divని. You can try this here. For example, file save as example3. So my time is running. I don't want to use the form or input fields kuda vaadnu. What am I trying to do is, let me try to put a span or div, whatever it is, your name, div lo your name, span content editable is equal to true, ng model name right. Type your name here. Type your name here. Span lone ikkada inkoటి నేను అప్డేట్ చేస్తున్నాను. The name is, your name is name. ఇక్కడ br పడేస్తాను. ఈ కంట్రోలర్స్ ఏమొద్దు తీసేస్తున్నాం. ఈ డివికి అటాచ్ చేయాలి కదా, ng యాప్, ng యూనిట్ అక్కర్లేదు, గుడేనా ఏంటిది కంట్రోల్ example3. రాలేదెందుకు, యువర్ నేమ్ ఈజ్ అని. ng model content editable true, ng model, ng app is blank, ng యూనిట్ అక్కర్లేదు కదా. your name is కట్ చేశాను ఎక్కడన్నా. They're supposed to change it, but it's still model, but why it's not updating I don't know. Okay, on okay, ఇది ఓకే, దీనికి ఈవెంట్ ఉండదు కదా, we need to add an event, actually here. Okay, we need to add an event, so that otherwise it will not. ఎందుకు span కి ఈవెంట్ ఉంటుంది కదా, ఇన్పుట్ ఎలిమెంట్ కి ఈవెంట్ ఉంటుంది, but span కి ఈవెంట్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి it's not catching that event. So you need to write your own event to do that, or you can do something differently, or controller రాసి దాన్ని అప్డేట్ చేయమని చెప్పొచ్చు, then it will automatically do those things. So though they are changing, they are getting changed, but they cannot be captured as a value, right? They cannot be captured as a value directly. A name type chesina kuda you cannot do it. But ikkada em chesadu, div content editable, cursor position, background color he has to do. So type click to edit ng model content, and somehow or other he is able to get it. Fine type chesina కింద వచ్చేస్తుంది కదా మనకి, type click to edit ng model content, but it's not updating here. Okay, JavaScript లేదు రాసుని ఉంటాడు అది ఇక్కడ he has added on blur, అది he has added a method to that, otherwise it cannot be done actually. Element attributes and control, he has actually passed those things to that, and accordingly it has done the job. That's why you are seeing that. Okay, JS it has added, but however other you can also see that. Okay, so you need just follow these things so that you will be understanding the things. Filters also, expressions, right? You have seen the filter, currency filter, filter followed by filter followed by filter, filter followed by argument, you can also do that. Okay, so number, but all the things available you need to do custom filters. This is a stateful filter, automatically changes. You try them, templates, expressions, animations. You may be interested in sometimes animations. So that animations, you can try them, you can see that. Okay, see you again, but what you need to do is don't stop learning, and don't wait for somebody until somebody comes and starts teaching you. If it is the case, then it will be very difficult to catch up the others. You make it a habit. There are so many resources now available for learning. So you use these resources and learn on your own as much as possible. Nobody is going to come and directly teach you something. Assume that is, you need to assume that first. If somebody is coming and helping you or teaching, that's good. But that does not mean that you should only always wait for somebody to come and teach you or to help give you some kind of sessions. Okay, I may be seeing you again. I don't know when I am, but either online or again here itself. Okay, I will let you know. Just for your glance again, I am telling you I have covered HTML5, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Bootstrap in between, Angularjs. So with this knowledge, you must be very good, and right now you should be able to see your resume. If you look at your resume, means I don't know when by the time you came over here, were they all there in your resume? మీ రెజ్యూమేలు ఇవన్నీ ఉన్నాయా? HTML5, CSS3 and JavaScript. Now the confidence levels must be different. In the last 20 days or 20 almost, we have done a lot, right? So the learning is different here. Though you might be spending a lot of time, but that does not mean that you are laying a path to your career. It's not for our sake you are doing here. So you are actually laying your own path. We are just helping you out to learn the things out in a proper manner. Okay, so that's it for today, and see you again, whether online or offline or whatever it is. Any questions, any doubts, anything? Just discuss about among your group first. మీలో మీరు డిస్కస్ చేసుకోండి ఫస్ట్ డిస్కస్ చేసుకుంటేనే సంథింగ్ కెన్ బి sometimes single mind cannot solve a big problem or small problem sometimes even. You need to discuss about the issues and somebody may be having a solution for that. Good. Thank you. Let me push them there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 15. 15 and furthermore before 7th also I have covered, but we have started documenting the things before from 7th only. So I am with you for about 15 days or 17 days. Right? And one topic was done remotely anukunta one day. సో మీరు చేసిన వర్క్ అంతా సర్వర్లోకి పుష్ చేయాల్సి వస్తుంది. మిస్టర్ ప్రతాప్ విల్ బి మేకింగ్ ఎన్వైర్న్మెంట్ ఫర్ యూ. మీ అందరి అకౌంట్స్ మీరు చేసిన వర్క్ యూ నీడ్ టు పుట్ ఇట్ దేర్ ఫర్ రివ్యూ. రైట్? సో ఎక్కడ గ్యాప్స్ ఉంటే జస్ట్ ఫిల్ దెమ్ అవుట్.